Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. Sorry if I look a mess, sorry if I'm talking utter shit, but I did stay up to watch last night. I absolutely had to, and I got about 3 or 4 hours sleep because I had to go straight to work. And I thought, you know what, I'll get back from work and I'll go to sleep, I'll have a nap. And that's just not happened. I'm not someone who can sleep through the daytime. It's like impossible. Only like on a very rare occasion where I'm very, very, very tired. Which I am today, but it didn't happen. Nearly did. So I'm gonna have to wait till I go to sleep at the usual time. Um, so that's why it's took me this long to make this video. Regardless, I had to stay up, right? Even if I had work and I was in first thing, I had to stay up for this match. John Cena is the very reason I watch WWE. The very reason I am a wrestling fan is because of John Cena, right? When I grew up, I grew up on like Freeview television and DVDs. Yeah, I didn't have on demand, I didn't have Sky, didn't have nothing. A lot of the time I didn't have internet. I didn't have internet at the house I lived at when I was growing up. But that's what I was young anyway. I didn't, I had toys, I had TV. It wasn't as big a thing back then. I'd have internet when I'd come here. I'm at my dad's house. I used to come here at the weekends and use the computer. And when I say the computer, I'm talking like a 90s like computer. Like it's a massive fucking box. And I used to go on YouTube and watch clips of Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers that I all had on DVD anyway. And then through YouTube I discovered a couple of YouTubers I liked, like Annoying Orange and Fred. No, it's Fred. Those were the popular things back in those days. If we're talking like 2012 through like 2014, I mean, this was a couple of years after that because I'm always years late to things. But Annoying Orange and Fred I became in love with, and obviously Fred, being as successful as he was, had a movie. And in the Fred Ficklehorn movie, to which I watched plenty of clips of on YouTube and bought the DVD, the man who played Fred Ficklehorn's father and just had a short cameo in the film, and his first, like, not his first movie, but one of his biggest debut movies, really, it was John Cena. Now, at the time, I had no clue that this was John Cena, I couldn't have told you what WWE was. I'd heard of the names The Rock and John Cena, but I couldn't tell you what they did. I probably would have told you they were boxers or something, right? Because, when you're young, you don't know. And it wasn't until I was watching this DVD at my house and my brother came in and went, "Oh, that's John Cena." And I thought, "Oh, I've heard that name before." And then it led to me Googling John Cena and watching the match that they had in the movie, John Cena and Fred against his bully and his dad. And over time, I started watching more matches. I started watching John Cena's previous matches, his matches with The Rock, back in like 2003 when Team Lesnar beat the shit out of him. And I just, I was into WWE probably since about 2016, but I didn't start watching the modern products, like the up-to-date stuff, till late 2017, I was just watching lots of old stuff. And it was John Cena that got me into it. And obviously, yes, I didn't just always watch John Cena. I started to watch other people as well. Like, I used to watch the feuds between Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, like the Authority days. Like, golden era. Anyways, when I started watching the modern product, like, day by day, like every week, it was late 2017. So we're talking just round about Battleground 2017, just before SummerSlam. So literally as John Cena was still active, but like on his way out of being active. Like, he had a match with Baron Corbin at SummerSlam that he won. He lost to Shinsuke Nakamura, which broke my heart, but it's fine. And then he had a match with Roman Reigns at No Mercy, which broke my heart when he lost. And then we didn't see him again until the Royal Rumble, And that was Cena starting to kind of fizzle out. Didn't win the Rumble, I was devastated. Didn't win the Chamber, I was devastated. Did all this build-up for WrestleMania to get squashed by The Undertaker. I was devastated. We're seeing him again at like Greatest Royal Rumble and a couple of pay-per-views here and there later in 2018, but he was starting to show up less and less. And I think 2019 was the first year where he just he showed up a couple of times, was never showed up, right? I think he showed up like once or twice. And the rest is history. John Cena's just been out of the game for that long. But he was the whole reason I got into WWE and I watched the product now, right? this had so much significance. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be the biggest John Cena fan of all time, because I'm sure there's people who've been watching John Cena since he debuted. You know, let's not forget how big WWE is, how impactful John Cena was. This isn't just like someone who got me into it and he's my personal favorite. This is someone who probably got millions and millions of people into the product and is legitimately the greatest of all time. Like, greater than Hulk Hogan. Fight me. Greater than The Rock. Greater than Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, when we're talking about Mount Rushmore, we're putting Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin on there alongside John Cena. But genuinely, like, culturally, John Cena is greater than those, in my opinion. Like, in the 70s and 80s, Hulk Hogan brought the eyes to WWF and made it massive. And as it sort of started to calm down, along came Steve Austin in the late 90s, refizzled it for the 2000s in the Attitude Era. And then it died down again. And then, obviously, John Cena was there in the Attitude Era, or like just at the end of it, and began the Ruthless Aggression Era. And he wasn't big, but he just steadily inclined. And by like the 2010s, Cena was putting eyeballs. And he did bits for that company, because while people like The Rock and Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan were retired, we still had stars like Randy Orton, Undertaker. I mean, Randy Orton's just as new as Cena. We had like Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels still, but Cena did things for this company. He brought it to new lengths. He put the eyes on the kids of the show. Like, let's just call it as it is. He was a kid's performer. He wasn't like these other wrestlers who respected the wrestling art or had like a ruthless gimmick. Like, he appealed to all ages, and that's what brought more eyes to it. Yes, a lot of people thought he couldn't wrestle because he over-exaggerated his moves, and it was overselling, and it looked faker than fake. But that's intentional. John Cena can wrestle, and he did that for a reason, because he saw a bigger vision, pardon the pun. And that's how he did bits for WWE, and you got to respect it. And I will never not hate him. Like, even though, you know, sometimes when I grew up, I kind of looked at it and thought, that's a bit shit, innit? But I could never, ever disrespect him, because he's the whole reason I'm in the WWE. And, you know, back when he was United States champion and he lost to Kevin Owens, who was the NXT champion, I was fucking devastated. But look, I'm back now. Kevin Owens is my current favourite in, like, the current roster. Obviously, he's injured now, but who would have thought that seeing my hero lose would make someone else my favourite? John Cena's done that his whole career. People say he used to bury young talent. I've seen him do nothing but put over young talent all the time. Think when AJ Styles came to the company, yes, he wasn't young talent. Yes, he had more ring mileage than Cena. Yes, he'd been to New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, TNA. But he made AJ Styles look incredible. Obviously, he already did, but Cena couldn't beat Styles. And he did the same with Reigns. Cena's never beaten Reigns one-on-one. It's mental, you know? He did it for Rollins. He's done it for loads of people. And that's what he was doing on this kind of farewell tour. Yes, it was a farewell and it was give the people what they want, but he was also giving people opportunities, like Dominic Mysterio, you know? Like, it's just mental. Even Jey Uso and Logan Paul, who we didn't want to see, but he saw the future for it. He saw how over Jey Uso was and marketable. He saw how over and marketable Logan Paul was, and he did that for them. And Saturday night's main event, it was about the NXT talent. Now, there's pros and cons to this show, but honestly, I'm just not going to deep it. So, let's get into the show, because I've spent a long 8 minutes talking about how great John Cena is. So, there was rumours that Cena and Gunther would open up the show so we could give Cena as long as a chance as we need to have his farewells and not get cut off by Saturday night's main event's timing, because that was the main concern. Because it happened to Goldberg, and we didn't want to happen to Cena. Well, obviously, they prevented that. And it's probably good, because if they opened up the show and then that ending happened, the rest of the show would have been hard to watch. So, we opened up with undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes against NXT Champion Obafemi. Now, I knew they were going to cook, and I knew they weren't going to have Obafemi beat Cody Rhodes clean, but obviously they want to propel the NXT talent. So, I thought that maybe Cody might get like a roll-up win, but my eventual verdict, I predicted that Drew McIntyre was going to get there, and he was going to attack Cody Rhodes after all that feuding to be doing, and ended in disqualification. What I didn't expect is for it to happen that early. Like, Cody Rhodes and Obafemi had the potential to put on a banger, and they were. But, like, for how long it lasted, like, I want to say that it lasted less than 10 minutes. Like, that was not long. And the pace they were going at, like, they was going quite slow. So I thought, okay, they're gonna heat up. Like, I wasn't bothered by it, but the fact that it ended like that, I kind of wish we just went quick from the get go, like full on Javon Evans and Leon Slater. But we didn't, and my prediction was right anyway. So 1-0, there we go. Yeah, not much of a chance to shine. Well, obviously Obafemi got a chance to shine, and honestly, the reception Obafemi got, I'm blown away. Like, obviously Cody Rhodes is going to get a big reception. Obviously Obafemi, people do know who Obafemi is, but a lot of the time, although NXT talent is over on NXT, and a lot of people who watch the main roster also watch NXT, a lot of time when NXT stars go to the main roster, they don't have that same impact, because although on NXT they look like $1 million when they go to the main roster, and you weigh them up against these other main roster superstars, it's not quite the same sometimes. But the reception he got was impeccable. Like, I was genuinely had goosebumps because the big fight feel I felt there with the aura Cody Rhodes came out to, and the aura Obafemi had when he came out. It was amazing. Like, and then he even got to take out Drew McIntyre. He bloodied up Cody Rhodes, and he got Cody Rhodes' respect by the end of it. If that's not putting Obafemi over, I don't know what is. And to be honest, Obafemi looked fucking nervous, and that just shows like the levels. Like, NXT's been doing incredible shit, but like he was off with certain points in his moves, and you could tell how much he was shaking. And it's not because he was in this massive stadium, because I believe he's performed in the stadiums the same size, because this was only 19,000. It's not even a stadium, it was an arena, but it was the magnitude of the event. It was the electricity of that crowd. You could tell Obafemi was fucking stressed, but he still shined. He could shine under pressure, because when he was on SmackDown, you could tell he was nervous there. He cut a fantastic promo. Imagine what he could do when he's comfortable. Imagine. Mental. So yeah, prediction right. Good match. Wish we could get a longer match, but we're going to get that in the future. Just looking at him in this event, I can tell Obafemi, when he gets on the main roster, hopefully not too long from now, he is going to be like an amazing star. He's like better than Prime Bobby Lashley, like with the size and athleticism. It's just mental. I cannot wait. Anyway, second match, Bayley, Soruka. Bayley had Lyra at ringside for her. Soruka had Zarya at ringside for her. And honestly, I knew these two women were going to cook. I said Bayley's a great technician. She's a veteran. She has one of the best matches in not just NXT history, but in WWE history with Sasha Banks. And she can cook with anyone. She's cooked with Nia Jax. And to be honest, although there was a couple like botches or just miscommunicated spots, they were on Bayley's behalf, and Soruka was fixing them, and she was fixing them with pace. You know, like Soruka. This just shows the talent Soruka has. Like, it was mental, and I did think Soruka was going to win. I didn't see a reason for Bayley to win. She's not got enough heat, and I think they just put Bayley in there because she's the perfect dance partner, especially because they want Soruka to hit that Soul Snatcher and get the clean win. I thought Bayley's the right catalyst for that, and she did hit that Soul Snatcher, and it still ended in a roll-up because she hit the Soul Snatcher, Bayley rolled her up, and Soul reversed the roll-up into another roll-up, and Soul got the win. So 2-0 in predictions for me. Great match, great showcase, and I think there was a moment there where Bayley was going to go psychotic because she was mad that she was losing, but she held it together, and they all saluted CENA. That's another thing they were doing when they were ending matches. They were all saluting CENA. You forget this whole event was one big tribute, so yeah, that was mental. The next match, my goodness, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, Phenomenal Lee, AJ Lee, whatever you want to call it, right? Against Leon Slater and Javon Evans. Now, the titles weren't on the line. This is to showcase NXT. I genuinely thought that Javon and Leon would win this, given that the titles weren't on the line, and they want to put the main, the NXT talent over. In the match, the way it started, like, Javon and Leon clearly had a game plan. They attacked them straight out the gates and, like, went full pelt, fast-paced, explosive, quick moves. And I genuinely thought they were going to pull off some miracle and pin AJ Styles and Dragon Lee in, like, a couple of minutes and get the win, and that would have put them over. And they had an incredible match, despite how short these matches are, because they're rushed, because Saturday night's main event. One thing I don't get, right, this event, right, it's 2 hours. It's a short event, right? Why on earth are we rushing matches, but you want to have ad break after ad break? You don't just have, right, you have the YouTube ad breaks. Then you have your shows, commercials, sponsors. Then you have all these segments like, ooh, look at the celebrity ringside. Ooh, Go to this event next year. Go to this event next year. We spend more time on commercials than we do on matches, and that's why these matches are rushed. People mess up, and we get sometimes underwhelming endings because we've got to rush them. Stop doing that. And if you're going to do that many commercials and you're going to rush matches, stop doing 4 matches. Do like 2 or 3, because we're kind of be rushing matches. It ruins the integrity. It ruins the legitimacy, because on every other show you have, Raw, NXT, SmackDown, every other PLE, a match can last between 10 to 20 minutes. Yes, they can last shorter, but they typically last longer. But you're telling me on Saturday night's main event, they all magically happen to last 5 minutes. Obviously, we all know why that is, but it doesn't keep up with storytelling. It doesn't keep in kayfabe. It's too obvious. Do you know what I mean? So let's not do that. I'd like to keep 4 matches and just cut down on the ads. You don't need that many ads. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. You're promoting your events. You're promoting celebrities that you've paid to come to your show. You're doing sponsors. You're doing a ridiculous amount of ad breaks. It's ridiculous. Let it go. Anyways, rushed match, but every spot was amazing. You couldn't have picked a better amount of people to gel. I mean, Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Dragon Lee, AJ Styles. Just makes sense. And the ending was AJ Styles pinning Leon Slater. And AJ actually had a nasty botch at the end as well. He went for the phenomenal forearm and just strictly fell off the ropes. It was bad. But AJ Styles and Dragon Lee got the win, which I was surprised by. Genuinely was. But now I get it, right? Saul beat Bailey, that's a win for NXT. AJ and Dragon Lee beat Javon and Leon. That's a win for the main roster. And over, Cody kind of just ended neutrally. So no one really won, which is fair enough. But I just didn't see it coming. But I don't care, because it was a great match. Match of the night for me. That was match of the night. I have to give it to them. And I thought CENA Gunther was coming out because, you know, I know what Saturday night's main event is like. And I'm thinking, it's 20-3 here, because, you know, in the UK. We'll have 20 minutes left if it's 2 hours long. Surely we won't have much time for the segment after if they're going to come out now. And it still didn't even come out. It was The Miz sat there complaining that he wasn't a part of Cena's retirement tour. And I back it. It was everything I was saying. Everything I've been saying in my previous videos in the last few months. It's The Miz has been ignored. He's one of the most significant men in John Cena's career. Multiple feuds. Beat him in the main event at WrestleMania. And he's not been a part of Cena's retirement tour. Had 2 chances in the tournament, and you made him lose twice. Embarrassing. That's when R-Truth came out and said, I see what you did with the balls, had the whole comedy thing. And the crowd was back on The Miz, by the way, as well. And I like how they've prolonged this little story that R-Truth has had about the balls and The Miz trying to get in the tournament. And then he said he found the name that The Miz swapped. The Miz read it out. She has me hoping like it says Edge and Edge comes back or Chris Jericho or something. No, it just said Joe Hendry, and then it did the whole I believe in Joe Hendry. I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're just getting a cheap pop. Yeah, and Joe Hendry and R-Truth beat up The Miz and whatever. But then I deeped it and I was like, no. Cena's building the future, right? Putting Obafemi, putting Javon Evans and Leon Slater, putting Sol Ruka, putting over Gunther and all this. He's putting over Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry and the whole say his name and he appears is a gimmick WWE wants to be over, and John Cena is putting that in this show. I'm not sure if it's John Cena himself, but the whole putting over the future, that's putting over that gimmick for the future. So fair enough, but it is just going to get boring. It's already boring. I think the Joe Hendry thing was fun for a couple of times, and then once we've seen it at WrestleMania, we didn't need to see it again. I'll be real. Because he's not that great in the ring, and he's not that great a talker, so I don't know how I feel about Joe Hendry. But yeah, then it came down to the final match, Cena and Gunther. Now in my predictions I said I'm going to root for Cena because it's his last match and I will never be against him winning, but I've seen a vision. And you can go back in my predictions video and watch. I legit said this, because the story is that Cena's never given up, and he's the sports entertainer, and he entertains people and he's never given up. Whereas Gunther, he's the greatest professional wrestler. Like, Cena's the greatest sports entertainer, Gunther's the greatest professional wrestler. He's a technical wrestler. He doesn't focus on entertaining, he focuses on fighting and winning. And he makes people tap out, makes people sleep, makes people quit because he's that brutal. And it was sports entertainer versus wrestler. It was never give up versus I'm going to make you give up. And I said I seen a way that WWE could make Cena tap. And it makes sense because it's his final match and he's never given up. And he's always said, if I stop performing to my optimal level where I can't give him my all, I will retire. And that's what this retirement tour is about. And the fact that it's his last match, him not being able to do it anymore means he can't never give up. He can't do that anymore. And if he does give up, that's an indication that his wheels have fell off and it's time for him to retire. It makes perfect sense. If you've never given up your whole career, the one time you give up, it's on your final match. That makes so much storyline sense. And that puts Gunther over. Because now he's not only retired Goldberg, but he's retired John Cena. He slept Goldberg and he made John Cena tap. Think about that. Brutalized the dominating, the man with an undefeated streak, the man who beat Brock Lesnar in a minute 26. He brutalized him and retired him. Cena, the man who never gave up, and he made him give up. All in the same year, by the way. That's what that's done for Gunther. People are booing him and saying, fuck you, Gunther, and they're going to hate him, but this is wrestling. And they're saying that, and they're meant to say that. You know, they're meant to be unhappy about that. Gunther's going to come on Raw, they're going to boo so loud, he's not going to be able to talk. But it's going to put him over so much, because his stocks are going to be so high. Remember when Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? Yes, he'd had big matches before that, but from there, it was only up. It was only up. Because what was he doing after he beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania? He was fighting Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Then he beat John Cena. And then he was runner-up in Royal Rumble and won the Elimination Chamber. Nearly took the title from Brock at Mania. And then eventually he took that title, got leukemia, came back, had a couple big matches, then eventually was the tribal chief, right? And became one of the biggest superstars of this generation. These moments count. And if John Cena's in his last match, win or lose, it doesn't matter, because tonight was never about the match. It was about Cena saying a proper goodbye. It was about Cena's moment at the end of his career. And that is A, celebrating John Cena, and B, putting over the younger talent and paving a way for the future. Leaving the place better than he found it. How do you expect him to do that? By beating Gunther. Because by beating Gunther, the current best in-ring performer, right, technical-wise, in today's roster, if John Cena beat him, that proves his wheels are not falling off. So why is he retiring? Yeah? You cannot put on a show saying you're paving the way for the future and not put him over. It makes total sense. And whether you win or... Yes, if Gunther had hit the powerbomb and pinned him, I would have said that was a bit stupid. But win or lose, I didn't care. Even though I want John Cena to win and he's my GOAT, I didn't care. Because it did go for Gunther, but it was never about the match. It was just about the moment. It was just about, this is Cena's last performance. This is the last time we're going to see Cena. Let's drink it in. And honestly, for that, I felt like the match quality could have been a bit better. I felt like they focused a lot of the time on Gunther brutalizing Cena and trying to make him tap, and Cena just fighting back. And then, yes, that added to the story of the match, but that was for the ending, you know. And the ending was cool. Like, he kept pulling him back into that chokehold, but the match was a bit, it was a bit dull. Like, there was just, like, Gunther slowly beating him up, Cena hitting an attitude adjustment here and there. Like, we could have, like, went out on a good performance. But I'm not mad at it, you know, like, it's not about the performance. We've seen his good performances this year. CM Punk, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, AJ Styles. We've seen those good performances. This was just about the moment, and it was perfect. And even though Gunther got booed the fuck out of the building, Cena got his good goodbye because everyone came out to celebrate him. He got the most emotional video I've ever fucking seen. He left his wristbands, his shoes in the ring. Couldn't leave the jorts, but if he could have, I bet he would have. And walked out, and he's never to come back. And that was it. That was the moment we all were there to witness Cena's final match. And it breaks my heart. It really does. But it had to happen. And do you know what? I'm glad it happened that way. Ric Flair had a proper exit, even though he still came out of retirement. Shawn Michaels had a proper exit, even though he still came out of retirement. Undertaker was meant to and didn't. And then Goldberg did. And now it's Cena. These legends need to have retirement matches. Hulk Hogan did. And they can't say he's retired and bring him back. Cena needs to stay retired. And honestly, I get the fans' disappointment, but get over it. It was never about the result. Don't be mad at the result. Win or lose, CENA was leaving tonight. Why does it matter if he won? And two, I get you're mad at Triple H, but you forget it's not just Triple H, because it's Bruce Pritchard, it's Michael Hayes, it's the whole production team. It's mainly CENA. He had creative freedom of his retirement tour. He didn't pick the dates, he didn't pick the shows, but he did have some creative freedom towards his last few matches, I'm pretty sure. So screaming bullshit as it ended, yes, as fans, makes sense. But also at the same time, CENA looked genuinely disappointed there because everyone took it very badly. And I just think we need to not act like that. Like, just enjoy the moment. The match was over. Just let revel in CENA's last moments. The hate for Triple H is funny, and Triple H is laughing at it, but people are genuinely going so far. People are comparing Triple H to Hitler, by the way, because he's the main boss of the company, and him as a part of a team decided CENA's going to lose this retirement match. Like, Ric Flair lost his retirement match. Goldberg lost his retirement match. Undertaker lost his retirement match. So did Shawn Michaels. I'm pretty sure Hulk Hogan did, but I can't remember. Who wins their retirement match? No one. Come on, man. Like, it's mental, the things people are saying about Triple H. It's sad. I know. I wanted to see him win, but we didn't, and it's fine. Because look at what he did for everyone else. Everyone there was genuinely thanking him. They weren't going, oh, thank you, because you're, like, the greatest of all time. They were thanking him because he's been there for everyone. He's put everyone over. And if he hasn't, he's given them advice. He's helped out them either directly as a person or indirectly just through propelling this company. Not just in this last year, because he has done that in this last year, but in the whole 23 years he's been here. Even when he wasn't around in like 2019, 2018, 2020, 2021, he was still the face of the company. His name still rang through. And people want to insult the creative today of WWE and say, oh, WWE's at its all-time lowest. I'm calling the fuck out of you, because that is bullshit. WWE, since about the end of 2022, has been the greatest we have seen it since the 90s. Yeah? People expect everything 100% every time. That's just not how it's going to be. I don't know if you know this, but you can't have everything your way, because guess what? You want the dream match of your favourite versus your other favourite. But then when one of your favourites wins, you're mad that your other favourite lost. How's it going to be perfect? It can't be. And I feel like we got given such great things a couple of years ago that people are never satisfied now. People aren't looking at the bigger picture. I, for one, look at wrestling optimistically, and sometimes having an underdog win is good. Sometimes having a certain person win, even when it's not what you wanted, is good. And people are too harsh and too critical of WWE these days. I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was perfect. I'm just happy I had to see it. What's the saddest part for me is that I wasn't there. Not just that I wasn't there, but I've never seen CENA live in my life, in his career. And that makes me sad, because I've been to WWE shows. I've been to 3 house shows. Obviously, he's not coming to house shows because my first house show was in 2019. I'm pretty sure he's not done a single house show since then. I did go to London to SmackDown and hope to see CENA, but he wasn't at the SmackDown. He was at the Raw, which is annoying because I live on the other end of England. I have to do a lot of travelling and staying and a lot of money to go do that. And it's annoying that he wasn't at SmackDown, because he was currently feuding with Cody Rhodes on the build-up to WrestleMania for the Undisputed WWE Championship, and that's a title held on SmackDown, but they still put him on the Raw. So that was sad. So I've never seen CENA live, and I never will. But at least I got to watch it live. And I said to my brain, I said to my body, there's no falling asleep. I know I've got work first thing in the morning, but I'm not missing this. I wouldn't miss it for the world, and I didn't. So yeah, there's my opinions on Saturday Night's Main Event, my opinions on John Cena's retirement. My GOAT. Sad to see him leave, but I'm not even like sad that it's over. I'm just happy that it happened. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.